All right, so for task 2 of our assignment, what we want to do is display this data in back-to-back stem and leaf plots. Now this is slightly more complex. So let's go to our assignment again. Down the bottom, we want to create a new tab. So you'll see that little plus sign that's in a circle. Click on it and it will create a new sheet. Right click, let's rename, and we'll go task 2 and we'll go part B. Now, what we need to do is we need to take the data from the previous table, so task 2A, and if you highlight by clicking on the top of these columns, and if you press Control C, which is copy, and what you'll notice is these dotted moving lines, or the dashed lines, will be around everything that you've copied. Then go to task 2B, click on cell A1, right click, and just go paste. And it will then duplicate those tables a second time. Okay, then what we want to do is we want to get Excel ready for doing the back-to-back stem and leaf plots. So in order to do that, we just need to highlight a whole lot of cells. At this point, it doesn't really matter how many you've highlighted. So I've gone up to AE, and we want to create them about that wide, okay? So not too narrow, and what you'll see is that's moved all of those cells and it's created them really narrow. Doesn't matter exactly where you do this, because once we've finished doing it, we can always just move it around to make it look good. So the first thing we need to decide is, are we going to do back-to-back stem and leaf plots for handspan or foot length first? Let's do handspan. So up the top, we just want to write handspan. And then what we want to do is, for the moment, grab our handspans from 7 Maths 2. Now remember, this is in the task 2 tab. And this is really cool because you need to order them and you don't have to do that manually. So if you just highlight the numbers, not the heading, just the numbers, go up to Data, click on Sort, and we just want to continue with the current selection. So continue with the current selection, then go Sort, and we want to make sure that my data does not have headers because I only highlighted from cell 3 or A3. So we're sorting column A on values smallest to largest, then we go OK. And you've noticed that it's now put them all in order. So if we just repeat that, so highlight our foot length, we go up to Sort, continue with current selection, make sure that we haven't clicked my data has headers, smallest to largest, OK. Now look what happens if we highlight that heading as well. So if I highlight handspan as well as my data, I go up to Sort, continue with current selection. This time, I want to click this My Data Has Headers. And you'll notice now, instead of having a column reference, it will come up and it will say, okay, let's sort by handspan. So we do that, smallest to largest, and then foot length, data, sort, continue, smallest to largest, and we sort smallest to. Okay, so we're going to look at handspan. So for the minute, I'm only interested in my handspan. So those 2 yellow columns. With your stem and leaf plot, you want to go sort of 8, 9, 10 boxes in for the moment. And then under borders, we want a left border and we want a right border as well. So when I take it away there, you'll see our left border and our right border. Now what's going to happen is, on the right hand side, we're going to have 7 Maths 5. And that's going to be the 7.5 class. On the left hand side, we're going to have 7 Maths 2. And what we want to do is, because it's on the left-hand side, we want to change our alignment to right aligned. And that'll make sure it starts at the right and it goes left. I'll just change this name. So once we've got that set up, we need to look at our data, and only looking at handspan, our minimum value is 16. Because remember, in our stem, we put our tens column. We're going to do this a little bit differently to what we'd normally do, because looking at the data, you've got 16 and it goes up to 25. So all it's going to be, in that first line there, you're going to have a 1, and in the second one, you're going to have a 2. So that represents 10 and 20. Now remember that when we do a stem and leaf plot, you start on the inside and you work your way out. So if we do 7 maths 5 first, we've got 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 18, 19, 19. And they're all those red ones are what we're going to put over here. I'll show you a cool trick. Because we've already put them in order, what we can do is we can highlight. So Control C. We go here and click on cell Q4, right click, and there's a paste option, which is transpose. And it will put them in there for us. However, if we just paste the values first, that will get rid of the formatting. Then we can copy over here, right click, and it's going to put those, actually, that's not actually going to work for us. If I've got 16, 17, 17, 18, 18, 18, we want to put the ones digit in each of these. So I've got a 6, and then I press tab, 7, 7, 8, 8, 8, 9, 9. So what we can see is if I just pop that data over there for a minute, that 6 is actually 16 because we've got the stem, which is a 1, and the 6, which is a 16. And then we've got a 17, which is a 1 and a 7. And that's all the data for 7 maths 5. Then we want to move on to this other data, which I'm going to make green for the moment. So I've got how many 20s? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 20s. So I go 2, 0, 6 times. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I've got 121, 122, 3 23s, and 125. And that is all of the data for the 7 maths 5 class. If I go over here for the 7 maths 2, okay, I've got 17, and this time I've got to go left, because remember the smallest number is closest to the stem. So I've got 17, 2 18s, 3 19s, and that's it for the moment. Okay, so then we want to move on to the 20s. So as you can see, I've got 2 20s, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 21s. So we go 3 20s, 20, 20, 20, and then we've got 7 21s. So 21, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I'm down here, I've run out of room, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight those like that, and I'm going to shift it left so I've got a bit more room. And then we've got 2 22s and 2 23s, so 22, 22, and then 23, 23. Okay, what we want to do is we now want to count to make sure we've got the same amount of numbers over here as we do in the 7 maths 2 class. So if I highlight just those numbers there, what you'll see down the bottom right hand corner, we've got this count of 20, and then if I highlight my 7 maths 2 in my stem and leaf plot, I've got 20. Now that doesn't guarantee that I've got it correct, but what it will do, it will tell me if I've got 19, then I've missed one. And we do the same for the 7 maths 5 class. Down the bottom we've got 20, highlight the 7 Maths 5 class. Down the bottom, I've got 20. Now, I don't need these borders just here, okay, but what I will do is I'll get rid of these two, go up here and go no border. Actually, I'll get rid of all of them. So highlight all of them and just click on no borders. Now, that's handspan. We want to duplicate that for foot length. So if we highlight our 2 Year 7 ones, we go Control C. Just down here, we go Control V. And instead of handspan, we want foot length. Now, foot lengths are ranging from 21 up to 30. So we're going to highlight these two. And we go right, left border, right border. Only this time what we want to do is we want to go 2, and we're going to put L in there. And that means the low 20s. So low 20s are going to range from 20 through to 24, and then 2, H, is going to represent 25 up to 29. Okay, this time I'm only dealing with foot length, so let's make those, let's go orange. So my low foot length for 7 Maths 2 are these yellow ones, 22 up to 24. So we've got 22, 3 22s, so 22, 22, 22. And then we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 23s, 3, 23, 23, 23, and 3 24s, 1, 2, 3. Then we move on to the upper, so the 2H, and we've got 1, 2 25s, 25, 25, 3 26s, 1, 2, 3, 4 27s, and 1 28. And then we duplicate that for the 7 Maths 5. So our low ones are yellow just here. So I've got 1 21, 1, 2 22s, 2 23s, and 3 24s. Then I move on to my upper ones. I've got 1 2 25s, 26, 1 2 3 4, 27, I've got 2, 29, I've got 3. Oh, and I've got a 30 in there, so I need to do a 3L. And let's just put a right border and a left border in. And 7 Maths 5, we've just got 3O. Okay, what we then want to do is just highlight those cells, merge, and that will put our foot length in the middle. Highlight those cells, merge, and it will put our handspan in the middle as well. Only thing left for us to do is a key. So we go key, and 1 with a right border. So we put a 1 on, and we put a right border. So 1, 4 equals 14 centimetres. And no, we don't want to accept that correction. So equals, and we just need to put an apostrophe in front of there, equals 14 centimetres. And there we have our 2 back-to-back stem and leaf plots.